Welcome everyone, my name is Lisa, and today we're going to talk about the number one question that I most often get asked when people find out that I know how to sell on eBay. That question is, what do you sell? Well, for me, that is a loaded question. After all these years of being an eBay seller, I've never been able to find that niche, that one category that I only sell in. This is probably due to the fact that I mostly do eBay on a part-time basis. I first started eBay as a buyer, and I was buying pottery pieces to add to my collection. And I was paying huge amounts for shipping to get those heavy pottery pieces to my door. And I was able to grow my collection and find unusual pieces, but I soon realized that the best part about eBay was being the seller. I started thinking about all the money that I was spending and how maybe I ought to look at being a seller. So I looked at my pottery collection and knew that there were pieces that I could live without, and so I started listing some of my pieces on eBay. And that was the point where I converted from a buyer to a seller. I dabbled in lots of different things that I had around my home that I didn't want anymore, and that's where a lot of people first start when they want to sell, is clearing out your closet, your basement, and your attic, and getting rid of things that your family no longer uses. But I've always loved to go to yard sales and to Goodwill and to flea markets, and so I started keeping an eye out for more pottery pieces besides what I collect, because I knew people bought and sold pottery. And that was what I did for the longest time, was pottery. But then I realized I needed to branch out into other things, and that's where the dilemma starts. It's like, what else can I sell on eBay? So today we're going to talk about the top 5 categories that I sell from. And this is my own personal experience. You'll have other people that will sell in categories that I don't touch. But since I only do eBay part-time and I enjoy going to yard sales and Goodwill, these are the kind of items that fit into my lifestyle. So number 1 is new items. These are items that you can pick up more readily, I think, at yard sales. You can find new items at Goodwill, but a lot of the times Goodwill has jacked the price up because they know it's a new item and they know they can get a better price for it. Also find items on online Facebook groups, and then clearance racks and clearance shelves at stores like Walmart and Staples, Office Max, Kmart, stores like that. The second category that I enjoy selling from is vintage items. Vintage items to me are things that remind me of my childhood. These are things that I know used to be in my grandmother's house, or perhaps in my own house with things that my mom and my dad had purchased. People love nostalgic items. It reminds them of their own childhood, and they often bring back wonderful memories, so that's why people collect these items. Or perhaps they always wanted a specific truck or a certain doll, and their parents were never able to afford to get it for them. So now that they're an adult and they have their own money, they're able to go to eBay and find items like that allows them to have that item that they always wanted. My mother did this when her father passed away. Relatives came over and took items from her and her mom's house, and one of those items was her only doll. So she was able to find that doll, plus other dolls that she had always wanted but that her family was never able to afford. And this has led to a lifetime of her collecting dolls in general. And so she looks for dolls at yard sales and flea markets, but if there is a specific doll that she wants, she can go to eBay and find that doll. And that's where I step in. I try to find things like that, put them on eBay so people can have access to them. I search for items like these, like I said before, at yard sales, flea markets, Goodwill. There's also buy and sell apps that you can download on your phone that are local, where you can meet people to buy and sell items. And sometimes people who have a more collectible item will post it on apps like that. The third category that I like to sell from is clothing. And this can be new clothing or used clothing, either one. I sort of have a knack for being able to walk into Goodwill, sort through the racks, and just by touching an item, able to tell the quality is good, pull it off the rack, and see that it is a name brand item. I like to use my eBay app on my phone when I'm in Goodwill, so when I find an item that maybe I've never sold before, I'm able to look on the eBay app and see how many items like this are already listed, because that will drive your price down. But with clothing, size can also help you. If everybody's got larges and you have an extra large, then that helps you because that makes your item more rare. I also know what brands that I like for myself. So those are brands that I always pull to buy. And then I also know what has sold for me in the past. I also look for those kinds of brands. I was able to teach a friend of mine how to sell on eBay when she retired. She wanted to supplement her income, and so I taught her how to sell, and she was able to find her niche really quickly because she has always loved fashion. She started by clearing out her closet, and then she found that a lot of her jeans were selling better than her other clothes. So she started going to Goodwill and yard sales and picking up jeans, and that is her niche. Not that she doesn't sell other items, but that is like the main item that she sells. To me, clothing is one of the hardest items to list because the item needs to be clean, in great condition. You need to check it for rips, tears, missing buttons. You need to provide information about how to care for the item once the person gets it in terms of ironing and washing or dry cleaning. And then you need to be able to put in the measurements of the item. And to me, that's critical. I first started listing clothing without doing that, and I would be bombarded with emails from people asking me, what is the length on those pants? How long is the sleeve length on that shirt? And it's just easier to go ahead and put it in your description. Even though you're listing the size varies by brands. So it's very, very helpful to have those measurements. And then I always tell a person to take a favorite shirt that they already own and compare those measurements with the measurement of the shirt that I'm selling. And that will help you determine if that shirt is going to be a good fit or not. The fourth category that I like to sell from is direct sales items. And if you're not familiar with direct sales, these are brands like Longaberger, 31, Scentsy, Pampered Chef. These are home party companies, and people love these items or hate these items. But people buy these items for various reasons. So you've got the person who is going to the home party because their best friend, Michelle, is having a party and she don't want to let Michelle down. Michelle's having a Pampered Chef party, but you don't cook. But you're going to go to the party anyway and you're going to order something because you don't want to let Michelle down. So you get your item in and you look at it and you think, I'm not going to use this right now, or I'm not going to use this ever, and you stick it in a closet, you stick it in a drawer or a cabinet, and there it sits until your next yard sale or the next time you gather things up to go to Goodwill. Boom. You've got a brand new item still in the box that gets sold or donated, usually at a really low price. You buy that item, load it on eBay, and there are people that love those products. That's why the home party business is so great, because there are so many people that love the brand and they're always looking for a deal, or they're looking for an item that they never got to buy in the past and it's now retired. They can no longer get it, but they still want it. They can find items like that on eBay. So to me, this is one of the better categories that I'm able to make a better profit from. The final category I'm going to talk about is any item that was expensive when it was new. And I know that covers a wide range of products. But think about, has your husband or boyfriend, father ever ordered a part for a car or a motorcycle and never put it on, or it was the wrong part and they never sent it back because they, felt like maybe they would need it in the future? People hang on to things for many reasons, but then after several years go by, they decide to purge and find the item that they never used and they put it in a yard sale. They sell it on an online Facebook group. They put it on Craigslist. Whatever the reason, it's usually at a huge discount as to what it was when it was new. But there are still people online that are looking for bargains, that are going to be checking eBay for that particular part. So that's when you step in, buy the item, sell it on eBay, and you make your profit. They're happy to get rid of it. They've had it for years. They don't want it anymore. So it's a win-win for everyone. Some other items in this category that you might be on the lookout for would be women's brand name shoes that only were worn a couple of times, maybe to a wedding or a graduation. Party dresses for the same reasons. Kitchen appliances that are name brand. If you're a bargain hunter like me, I don't always buy the name brand because it's so much more expensive. I will buy the store brand, but then you usually don't have as many features, or it breaks on you earlier than you wanted. So you can find used name brand items on eBay and get that name brand and features that you want and pay a lesser amount for it. So I always look for things like coffee makers, coffee grinders, specialty toaster ovens, all sorts of different small appliances that people might be interested in buying. I do sell in other categories, but these are probably my top 5 categories at this time. Be sure and check out my Goodwill playlist. I'll link it right up here, and that will give you an idea of what I've picked up on my last couple of Goodwill hauls. And I mentioned before about the eBay app, and the eBay app is my best friend. It helps me do so much in relation to buying things and selling things on eBay. And I will be doing a video in the future going over the eBay app and how I use that to buy and sell my items. Please give my video a like if you like the information that I shared today. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, as I will be adding this eBay video series to my playlist. Thanks for taking time to watch, and I appreciate your time.